Hello. The sun is literally just about to set, so I feel like we just have enough time to film this and still have me like in relatively good view. We've had a really beautiful morning, went for a lovely morning walk. This weekend has been so busy. I'm just finished my Body Ready method training, and I had my capstone exam this weekend, so that was like wonderful to do, but also so stressful. And I had like my gorgeous like gentle weaning from breastfeeding course, so I'm really like and then this morning was a meeting with my assistant, so it was really like busy full weekend, but my heart is really full and I'm feeling really good like entering this new week. Pete is just home, so it's been 3 weeks of solo parenting, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into our normal rhythm and routine, and having a little bit more support around the house with this growing bump. Oh my goodness, guys, I think I've popped. I feel like it's really obvious now that I'm pregnant. I've just been really enjoying these little like cute dresses with like a cardi on the top. And I've been getting a lot of questions from you guys in the little like mini pregnancy updates that I've been doing on Instagram on what I've been wearing. So I think I'm going to start sharing some more like outfit ideas, that kind of thing, which I don't normally do, but I was chatting with my assistant today and she was like, Kitty, people want to know. So I wouldn't never dare deprive you guys. I brought myself a little beverage today. Seems to be like a thing, but I have a beverage every day. I still have been craving like tangy, lemony, sour goodness. So this is actually a tonic water, which I've always liked to drink by itself. Oh, hang on, loud noise. But particularly in pregnancy, if you struggle with restless legs at nighttime, this is one of my like pregnancy tricks, is to drink a tonic water of some kind, because it contains quinine, and quinine is actually something that we prescribe in the hospital as medical personnel for like restless legs. There's like Charlie horse, where you get this random like kicks, restless leg syndrome, and so for me, I do really struggle with those. Generally, I find that this paired with like an Epsom salt soak bath or foot bath and some like gentle calf stretches before bed really help. But I'm also just really enjoying the taste of this, so it's like so refreshing, because it's nice to have something to look forward to. I've always like a nice tasting beverage. We also went to the most amazing place for our meeting today, Water Lilies in Carlow, which is like a nice halfway point for both of us. Does the best food. I had this amazing, like, I want to say it was like a buttered croissant, like French toast type thing, and it was just so amazing. And then Aoife got this like toasted sourdough with creamy mushrooms. Oh my gosh, looked amazing. Tried a little bit of it, it was really good. So yeah, a little bit of an update. We spent this week down with friends in West Cork. One of my dearest best friends and really like almost everyday co-parent moved down there recently, and my heart has genuinely been broken. It's been so difficult knowing what it feels like to have that support, and now it look a little bit different. She's now 4 hours away. So that was the first time that I've taken that trip with the kids. I have done a lot of like longer car journeys alone with them. We went down to Kerry last year. We often will go up and down to Sligo. So it was like, it's always a little bit of like, I have to hype myself up for doing big adventures with the kids. And then it's so great. I think sometimes you just need to lean into like, okay, this is maybe a little bit chaotic. They mightn't be super happy all of the time, and that's fine. And what could maybe be like a 3-hour trip might end up being a 7-hour trip with lots and lots of playground stops. Maybe stopping at like every time we see water to just like dip our feet and have a little splash and a paddle and get our wiggles out. And we always stop for like a meal along the way, or something to eat, or an ice cream or something yummy. But actually the boys are so good in the car. We went and stocked up on loads of like fun snacks. I always navigate it around nap time, so on the way down both of them slept, and on the way back only one of them slept. But it was really nice because we have just found in the men's shed, like the local community centre, a whole bunch of CDs. So we got like Matilda, James and the Giant Peach, and we were just like listening to all of those while we were driving. It was so cute. It was a really, really lovely way to just like pass the time, and yeah, a nice alternative to music or Spotify or whatever you normally listen to. I actually do have like a couple of really sweet favorites that I must gather for you, and maybe make like a Spotify playlist or something. Both like birth favorites, like a birthing playlist, but also like music that I like to listen to with my kids, and like stories and podcasts that are kid friendly, because we do an awful lot of that because we don't typically do screen time. If you're curious about that, I'll maybe leave the whole separate video on screen time down below, because yeah, that's a really fun one. And I always get questions about, well, what do you do with kids then if you don't have screens? And we just don't have them, so it's never, we always do something else, but it's nice to answer those questions because a lot of you are so curious. So we had a really wonderful week down there, and it just reminded me how much fun it is to do things with the kids, and how lucky I am that I have a job that means that I can literally be anywhere in the world and still support people in all of their breastfeeding concerns and preparing for birth and so many lovely things. This week is going to be primarily made up of like lots of business planning. I've got some very exciting things in the works, and then also like I've got to meet with a birth client, so to do an antenatal with her at some point this week. Lots of fun things coming, and yeah, just trying to really like find out where I want to put my energy now that it's come back. I really have found that like almost as soon as we came home from Malta, my energy came back, the nausea completely evaporated, and now I'm just like, well, where do I want to put my energy? And one of the things of going down to Cork was like, okay, so I really found clarity on like the way that I want to school the kids. And we've always said that we wanted to homeschool, but that's become even clearer for me. So that was like a real eye-opener. I'm like, okay, so I want to be around more. I want to ideally like work less. So how can I still ensure you guys are getting all of the support and all of the offerings in a way that means I'm not doing like the silly jobs? So any ideas for those of you who work for yourself, those of you who are, I'm the only earner in this family, so there's a little bit of a lot of pressure on me, but I'm very excited and feeling really like driven now. There are some things I wanted to write down as like little updates for pregnancy specifically. Okay, first one is I popped, which I genuinely think that like there's no doubt about that. There is a little belly right there, and it's so cute, and I've caught myself now like rubbing my belly a bit more. The morning belly from the evening belly is like no comparison. It's a whole other kettle of fish. So during the morning, there's like I can still lie on my belly in bed. There's almost like no belly there, and then by the time the evening comes around, it's like, oh, you're pregnant. And I will catch myself like, just because I'm so used to it, like lifting up my belly to take the weight off, or like waddling a little bit, and I have to be like, whoa kitty, like what are you doing? If anyone has been pregnant several times, you will know how easy it is to just like slip into that like heavy weighted pregnancy feeling. It's so funny. I'm starting back in yoga this week, so I'm really looking forward to just like moving my body in different ways. We have decided that we are definitely, I shouldn't say definitely in case you hold me accountable. We think we're going to find out the sex of this baby, mostly because I really, really think it's a girl, and don't necessarily want the surprise if it isn't. I also thought that Atticus was a girl, and when I found out that he was not a girl and there in fact was a penis there, I got a bit of a shock, and I can't say that it was necessarily a good one, because I had just really, I'm a bit of a planner and I like to know what's happening, and with Archer I was so ready and so open for either that the surprise was really fun. So this time around, I feel like actually what's going to be most supportive for us is for us to find out as a couple, as a family, and the boys also really want to know. Atticus is so cute. If you ask him, I'm like, what do you think it's going to be? And he's like, I think a boy or a girl. He says it was such like, he's really been thinking about it. It's very, very cute. The boys both have hilarious name choices as well. We now have some like, I would say long lists. Like, we don't have a short list yet. We've got, I would say, like 20 names that are girls' names and like at least 10 that are boys' names. We've always found girls' names easier. I love really like classic but also quite like ethereal, foresty, floral names for girls. And then boys, I like kind of quite classic, literature-based nature names. It's giving you zero context, but I've said before, like, if you want me to do a whole separate video on that, do let me know. So I've written Valentine's Day down here, and I can't even remember why, because my brain is so, it's like porridge these days. What did we do for Valentine's Day? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. Pete was away. So a little bit of self-care, I think, is what was due. But one of the things that I have been doing to sort of mind myself is that changed bedtime, which has been a game changer. I genuinely think I didn't realize how tired I was. And so while I've been like prescribing like early bedtimes for so many mamas who I see who are so clearly, you know, undernourished and needed that rest, or sleep deprived rather, I didn't realize how sleep deprived I was, because that was the time that I normally work. You know, I work when my kids are asleep for nap time and asleep for bedtimes. I don't have childcare during the daytimes. And so for me, that was like my go time. And I guess in growing this baby, I kind of took for granted how much energy I would need for them and for me. So while Pete has been away, I've just made it my business to get ready for bed with them. So I will brush my teeth, I'll do a wee, do my face care, my skin care, get into my jammies and fall asleep at like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Like ready for bed. I'm always surprised by how quickly I fall asleep, but actually it's made those night wakenings, because yes, my 4 and 2-year-old are still waking at night, so much more manageable. So that's been wonderful. And I think I'm actually going to try and at the very least maintain that kind of like a closer to 9 o'clock bedtime, because I think I need it. And maybe my energy will just come back and that'll be fine. But certainly for the moment, it's been really, really helpful. My cravings have been the same. Tart, sour things. The cravings for like fizzy stuff haven't totally disappeared. And like ice pops I was really craving for a while, but so they're still there. But much more so than that is tomato anything, like cherry tomatoes specifically. They do these really nice, like, I want to say they're like Polish tomatoes. But they come in like this a literal bucket from Lidl or Aldi, and I'll just sit there and like eat them like they're grapes. So they're really good. And tomato anythings, like tomato soups, tomato based sauces, so yummy. And the other thing is pickles. We, speaking of buckets, probably go through a bucket of pickles a week as well. To be fair, that's not just me, it's also the boys. They also like pickles, and so I'm not like sitting there eating a bucket of pickles, but I definitely make a serious dent in that. So like, even thinking about pickles, my mouth waters. It's insane. So I definitely take that as like a hint that I need to support my microbiome more and eating more fermented foods. So I'm trying to diversify that a little bit more now that my appetite has come back a wee bit more. Yeah. The next thing that I would say is I've really worked on like eating more. Specifically breakfast. I'm not a breakfast gal. I never have been. I've always really struggled with breakfast. It kind of started in my nursing days, in my nursing training, because you have to be on the ward for like 7 a.m. and I just had never been able to gather myself enough to be in my clean, tidy, pressed uniform, hair up, matching socks, shoes polished, lunches ready, you know, on the bus, in the hospital for 7 a.m. on the ward, and have breakfast in my belly. And so my body really got used to not doing that. And then we would get a breakfast break at like 10, 11, depending on how busy the ward was. So I just got used to that. And then I did this fantastic live with Dr. Sarah Hunt. And it was just, honestly, reminded me of like those basics of like, how are you minding yourself, kitty? What sort of a message are you sending to your kids, to your body, to this growing baby if you're not feeding them first thing? So I've always been really good with moving my body, but not so good at feeding my body, and that is going to be something that I'm working on. It's now like day 4 of having breakfast 4 days in a row, and I can't say I'm like loving it, because I definitely have to trick my body to do it, because my body's like, what are you doing? We're not meant to have breakfast for hours. But I think if I don't start doing it now, when am I going to start doing it? And I'm hopeful that it'll just be sending that really clear message to your body, that my body, that's just like, you are okay, you are nourished, you are safe to just be well. So that's been like a new change. And then the last thing is like, I don't ever really buy anything specific to pregnancy. I have been given like hand-me-down stuff. I've got some like nice washed out leggings with holes in them and 1 or 2 maternity dresses, but I really want to invest in like some cute dresses, I think, because this will be like, I'm going to be heavily pregnant in like spring, summer. So I want to be having clothes that are really like loose and like comfortable and really just easy to chuck on and still look kind of cute for that whole phase, and then coming right through to postpartum, when I'm going to be as soft as I can ever be. And so I'm really looking forward to finding some places that can maybe offer me some nice, cute, sustainable options. And I already asked this on my Instagram, but if you have any suggestions, leave them down below. I would love to see what you guys have been buying and enjoying during pregnancy. I actually check my app, which I totally forget to do, you know, almost every single time. Where is it? I know every time I do like a little pregnancy update on Instagram, so many of you message and say like, oh, I'm pregnant with you again. It's so exciting. So it's really nice to hear that like there are so many of you also sharing this journey with me. If you're wondering, this is the Pregnancy Plus app, and it's so cute. You get to like pick your baby's ethnicity. It's really lovely, and then you can like scroll and zoom in and see what's going on with your baby, and yeah, it's really nice. So 14 weeks pregnant, 25 weeks, 2 days to go. So here is my weekly update. Boop. Up to last week, the length of your baby was measured from the top of the head to the bottom, and the length of your baby's legs was not included for the first 13 weeks because they were still too curled up, which is so cute, for the first 13 weeks. So at 14 weeks, your baby's length includes the legs. So now your baby is measured from the top of the head to the heel. If you eat or drink something that your baby doesn't like, you may notice a tug on the umbilical cord, but that's what it feels like. It's not really. It's now that your baby has the ability to grasp the cord. That's a funny thing for them to suggest. But yes, I have been feeling movement probably since about 2 weeks ago, I would say. It's not all of the time, and it's generally when the boys are asleep or I'm like nursing them that I'm very aware of my body and able to tune in that way. It's very exciting. Baby now has a hairline forming, hair on their head, eyelashes and eyebrows. Oh, it's just so exciting. And there's no sound produced as your baby's windpipe is full of fluid at this stage, and baby could be hiccuping regularly. It's just so cute. Yeah, that's a little baby update, and hilariously, I can hear my other baby crying downstairs. So, bottoms up. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next video.